Hey kids, thanks for coming back by Tori Magoo 44. Today is the 12th. What is it? The 12th of April. Oh yeah, 2 more days till my brother's birthday. Just as a note. Anyway, I'm continuing on. This is part 4 of my how I got into Scientology and kind of how it evolved in the beginning. I've told you a lot about it in the later years, but this is someone had asked me on one of the comments about my marriage. And so I'm going to basically tell you in a nutshell a little bit about it. Okay, so I'm on course at LA Org at the time, which is downtown almost, and we're in an academy behind LA Org. And at the time, and still, Scientology uses check sheets. So let's say, imagine this, there's like all these different steps that you have to do. And let's say I've only done this much and it's all the way to here, right? Or think to the floor, it's like a ton more, right? So Bill Franks comes in, and I had been twinning with this guy, Harold. I didn't really know him, but he was funny. I liked him. But anyway, we're kind of twinning on something, checking each other out, which is a thing Scientologists do where you ask them, different questions about the piece of paper they're studying. And if they get it right, great. If they don't, you find them a word they don't understand. You have them demonstrate things, that kind of thing. So we're doing checkouts with each other and studying. And all of a sudden, Bill Franks, who's in this big Navy uniforms with all these, lanyards and everything, comes out. He's like the commanding officer of LA Org at the time. This is 1973, 74, right around there. And I think it's 74 by now. And Bill Franks, walks in and he says, okay, I'd like to announce everyone, it's Wednesday night. Everyone is staying all night long. You're going to finish your check sheets before Thursday at 2, which is their ending week for all of Scientology around the world. And he walks out. He says, we're going to bring you donuts and coffee at midnight. Now, I have a nuclear attack on this. I have epilepsy, as you know. I have to take medicine at night. So I look at my twin and I say, I can't do this. I have to get out of here. I mean, I'm like literally getting feelings like I'm going to jump out the windows. I'm freaked out. And he goes, okay, hang on. He goes up to the supervisor. I don't really know this guy, right? He goes up to the supervisor. He comes back and he says, okay, let's go. I said, really? And he goes, yeah, come on, let's go. And so we get outside and I say, what did you do? And he said, I told the guy you're hungry and it's out tech to study if you're hungry. So we're going to go get something to eat. So we go to Astro Burger, which is a thing on Alvarado Street, and they had these delicious hamburgers, and I love hamburgers. And he's funny, and we're having a great time. I mean, I really, really fell in love with him that night. And so we finally finish our hamburgers, and I'm like very into this Truman Show of Scientology, where if they say we have to do it, we have to do it. So I'm like, we have to go back, right? And so we finish the hamburgers, and I say, now what? And he goes, we're going home, which we both lived at the Manor Hotel at the time, which is now Celebrity Center. We both lived there in separate dorms. And he had a room, I was in a dorm. And he says, we're going home. It's out tech to make somebody stay up all night and study. See, he was born in Scientology, so he kind of had a different view than a lot of other people. He wasn't like I'm marching along with everybody. It was like, no, we're not doing that. So we go home, and I mean, he was like this white knight in shining armor. He rescued me, right? And I really fell in love with him that night. And we dated for about 4 months after that, and he asked me to marry him, and we ended up getting married in May of 1974. And our marriage was at Celebrity Center in the Rose Garden, and I wanted it to be simple. I didn't want it to be real fancy. It was funny because it just was. I mean, they kept calling, Seton Thomas was the guy who did the wedding. He kept calling, my husband's father's name was Paul, and my father's name was Paul. Even though he died, I felt like his spirit was there at my wedding. And so there were these two Pauls. And so Seton Thomas, instead of calling my husband Harold, kept calling him Paul. And every time he would, I'd burst out laughing. So it was sort of like, literally, I had to think, this is a wedding. People think this is serious. Stop laughing. So anyway, that's how we got married. We had I thought it was wonderful. We were in love. It was a very fun, light wedding. And now we're married. And overnight, I changed from Tory Chrisman to Tory Bezazian. His last name was Bezazian. And there you go on that. I had no idea, you know, what was going to happen next, but we end up going on a honeymoon and having a wonderful time. We both decide to join staff. So now we're on staff NSO, which is non-Sea Org. They don't have it anymore, but back then they had it in 1974. And I was training to be an auditor and then auditing at Celebrity Center. And he was training to be a supervisor, and he was a supervisor for the solo course, for anybody that knows that, which is the course right before clear, training you to get ready to do the clearing course. So we're on staff, and we're having a pretty good time. And I'm auditing in the HGC now, and that's interesting. It's like counseling. I know people have heard a lot about sec checking, which is where you're getting confessionals, but this is just auditing, which is different than confessionals. Auditing is sort of like you're doing these little processes on people. Let's say the grades. The grades are like, let's say you have a trouble with communication. So it's like from who could you communicate to freely, who can't you communicate with freely, and kind of like repetitive things like that, or what problem do you have, what problem can't you resolve, all kinds of different questions like that. So there are these different processes that you would run that don't have anything to do with confessionals. Confessionals come a little bit later, but this is stuff that's kind of getting you into Scientology and really thinking, wow, this is really great. And people have wins on it. Whether they're stable wins or not, most of them are not stable wins, but they're stable meaning they last forever. They're kind of like temporary wins, but then afterwards you go to the examiner and you come back and there you go. So one day I start feeling very nauseous, and I say to my friend, wow, every day at about 2 o'clock, I'm feeling really sick. And he goes, you're pregnant. And I said, I am not pregnant. Anyway, long story short, I am pregnant, and I have a wonderful pregnancy. I finally say to, at the time I went from CC, then they canceled non-C or, you couldn't be NSO anymore. So I went over to AO. I'm auditing in their HGC, and they kept saying, you have to get so many hours a week, like 45 hours a week, which is a lot of hours to get in. And I would get it in, and then I would go to get my check at the end of the week, and they would always go, I don't see anything here for you. And it would really tick me off. So this is how much it ticked me off. Finally, Robin Hubbard was the head of the auditors running them. And they said, oh, we don't. I said to Hubbard, look, I need my check this week. It's Christmas time. I want to get my husband a suit. So I need you to promise me you're going to make sure I get my check. And he goes, I promise. Get the 45 hours in. So I do. I audit the 50 hours, I think. And I go down to get my check. They don't know where it is. And now I'm really ticked off. And as nice as I am, I can get really ticked off. And when I do, I'm not exactly your favorite person to be around. So I think, okay, it's time for payback with Robin Hubbard. And I realize he has libs, which means his day off is that day, right? It's at the end of the week. And I know he has a motorcycle, and I know he has a motorcycle helmet. So I get his motorcycle helmet and I go hide it. And I hear him going, hey, where's my helmet? And I go, I know where your helmet is. And he goes, where's my helmet? And I said, where's my check? And he goes, give me my helmet. I said, you give me my check. Anyway, we go back and forth and back and forth. We're finally out in the hall screaming. He finally goes and gets me my check. I give him his helmet. There you go. So anyway, after that, I said, okay, I got to go because I'm getting really near birth, and I'm very, Beck's mother, Bibby Campbell, did the Lamaze classes for us, where we were learning how to breathe and everything like that. And I'm getting all excited. I'm so excited to have a baby. I've never had a child. I've never been around babies that much, and I'm really excited about it. So sure enough, I did have a silent birth. One of you asked, did you? Yes, I did. And I know it sounds insane, and especially to women who've given birth, but you have to remember, I have epilepsy, and the doctors all wanted me to get off of all of my medication because they were very afraid it would affect my son. And so I was really worried for his life, and I didn't want to add anything that would cause a problem to him. I felt like my physical condition already was a problem for my son, which it turned out it wasn't, thank God. But because of that, that was my motivation to just, I mean, I don't know if I was like totally silent, but it was pretty silent. And it was a home birth at home. And out comes my son. And oh, it was so great. It was just the happiest moment in my life and has been ever since. I mean, he is a delight of all delights and has been a wonderful, wonderful child. Now, the sad part of it is that my husband and I, part of our wedding vows was promising, and someone asked about our vows, and they're just really nice, simple vows, but we promised that we would always stay friends no matter what. Of course, we never thought one of us, me, would leave Scientology, but we were friends first, and then we fell in love. So to me, that's always been a really big loss, that I can't stay friends with my husband because of the Church of Scientology, because they managed to declare me a suppressive person, which if you haven't seen an SP declare, here it is. 15 September 2000, Tori Bezazian declared suppressive and blah, 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 blah. I think I posted it over on xenu.net, xenu.net. But here it is it's the Flag Land-Based Justice Chief for the Church of Scientology Flag Service Organization, approved by the Justice Chief. So they will not talk to me. People in the church think, oh, well, she can see the Justice Chief. No, they will never return my call. I have gone and sat outside their building saying, no, I can't talk to you. My only terminal is the International Justice Chief right there. See, you can see her only terminal is the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief. There you go. But none of them will talk to me. So they're super creepy. But anyway, my marriage, I was married for 27 years until I woke up and then escaped out. I really didn't think, my plan was to leave, find out if these people were good or not, because I didn't know. And then if they were, come back and get my husband. I really didn't think it'd be a big deal for him. I didn't know Scientology did the fair game stuff. I really didn't. Until I got out, I really didn't believe they did. To anyone listening who's lurking, they absolutely do. They're horrible. I can't say it enough. Get out. Even if you don't want to lose your friends or your family, get out. What kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change? Oops. Sorry. Wait. I went down the wrong throat. Ow! I hate that. What kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change your mind? That's a very great question Andreas asked me. And I hope you ask it to yourself. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope that helps. That's part of my marriage. It was a wonderful marriage for 27 years. And he's unfortunately still trapped inside the Church of Scientology. Harold Bezazian, if you hear this, come on out. I know you're very afraid of SPs, but they're really nice people. Believe it or not, they are. I know the church has told you this and that, but you know something's fishy. So come on out. Anyway, peace out, you guys. I love you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.